You're rocking with some of the realest coaches in the game. Coach RB and Coach CB. Area code 459.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to Area Code 459 Podcast. I'm here with my host, Coach CB, and some special guests in the studio today. We are talking about building a family. It is the next part of our mini-series called Love is Hard Outside the Lines. Before we get started today, we're going to ask CB to take it away with thanking our sponsors.
So I just want to give a shout out to all the people that have helped us get this podcast off the ground. We have In-House Inc., East Bay, and Jade Made Crafts. They've done a great job helping us put our logo together and also get some merchandise ready for y'all to start repping our brand. And also want to thank all the people, the family, friends, and most importantly, God for all the things that they've helped us do along the way and all the support that they've given us to really get this thing going.
Dude, we have two special friends in the house tonight, and I'm going to start by, giving a shout out to my man, Jai Jenks. Excuse me, he's Mr. Second Lieutenant Jai Jenks from Panama City, Florida. He graduated from North Greenville University. He's an infantry officer on his way to infantry basic officer leadership course and also Ranger School. He just earned his airborne wings. He's a hardworking man. He's driven, and his whole purpose in life is to serve. What's up, Jai?
What's up, man? How you doing, man? I miss you guys.
Miss you too.
And I also want to introduce our second guest. He's one of my favorite people ever that I've ever met, Coach Harry Griffin. He used to work as a high school basketball coach. He served in our military, and now he's just being a father and doing great things still in the community, impacting lives. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing excellent. How y'all doing today?
Doing well,
doing amazing.
Doing well. Little tidbit, man. That's my best friend, man. That's one of my best friends. So, he better stay good. He better stay good. Go ahead, Caitlin. Take it away. Talk to our listeners about what's going on today.
Again, this is our second or third episode of our mini-series for Love is Hard Outside the Lines. Today's topic is about building a family. And again, Coach B and I really talked about what this meant for us. And building a family is all about servant leadership and then trust and wisdom. So the first thing that I want to know, Coach Griff, is how do you establish trust in a relationship?
How you establish trust is first thing I would say is honesty. You have to be honest, even when it's not popular too, even when you don't feel like the person is going to accept your honesty or maybe be upset. You just have to put it out there. It's like a foundation. If the foundation isn't secure, the foundation isn't where you need to be, the building isn't worth it. So, the foundation is honesty, and I would say from there you can build anything from there.
Man, that's dope, Griff, man. I'm glad that you said that, man. Honestly, because actually I was going to throw, something at Jai, man. And both of you guys have served or currently serving in our U.S. Armed Forces. Tell us, Jai, what it's like to hear someone say thank you for your service.
So for me, I appreciate it, I really do, but at the same time, I don't feel personally like I've earned the privilege to hear that from people just because, I'm new to the Army. Everything I've done right now so far has just been schooling, so I haven't really had the chance to actually serve and deploy and see any kind of form of combat or do anything to help my fellow soldiers out yet. So for me personally, I do appreciate it, but at the same time, I don't have a combat badge. I haven't earned that. So
do you think? My bad, Jai. But do you think that like you said, you do appreciate it? Do you think that uniform, just gets you that automatic thank you for your service because you're rocking that uniform?
I think the uniform does have a lot to do with it. That uniform, it represents the Army. It represents the organization as a whole. It represents the soldiers who have come before, the soldiers who are going to come after. It represents those who have died and sacrificed everything for this country. So I believe that the uniform itself it gives you that respect, even though you haven't, I would say, earned it yet.
Right. A lot of people don't know this about you, but you're sitting down, man. You're actually about 6'9", and people don't understand that. You know, that attitude behind that uniform, and that respect, and talking about the brothers that come before you. You have rocked different uniforms in high school and in college. You played college basketball, so we just want to let our listeners in on the little secret about you, like hey, this man has and believes in the brotherhood and believes in that, and even though you haven't served yet, and Griff, same thing with you, I'm going to tell you guys both thank you for your service, so we appreciate that.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Appreciate
As you guys hit on respect, when I think about respect, I think about somebody that I look up to and somebody that I want to gain wisdom from. So Griff, looking back, how did the presence of wisdom grow you as an individual?
I've always, it's funny, I always gravitated toward older people. All of my friends besides Bobby, are older. And I always knew I could get something from somebody who's been down that road before. And I just try to pick people, friends and mentors. Not always the shiny ones, but the ones that have a little wisdom, the ones that had a little dirt on them, and they found a way to come up anyway. So that was always my thing.
I got you. And now that you're in a place to give wisdom, like what is one piece of advice that you would give to a younger person about finding those sound voices to hear from, finding those mentors and those people that they look up to that will have their best interests in mind and that they can gain that wisdom from?
The first thing I would say is intuition. You need to listen to that. Everybody has that bell. When something isn't right, you kind of say, what, let me step away from it. I think that wisdom for a lot of people, they don't listen to it. And that's the first thing in finding somebody that can help you, or help you along your path, or help you along your journey, is to listen to those little things that say, hey, look, something isn't right with this person, or something is right with this person. When I first met Bobby, that was one of the things, that was what brought us together. Was one conversation. And then after the one conversation, I kind of looked at him like, man, he has a good spirit. And I'm pretty sure, because we've had this conversation before, it was, man, he's got a good spirit. And he felt that same way about me. And we just kind of went with it. Instead of second guessing it, instead of overthinking it, it was like, okay, this guy, he has something special about him. And it didn't take me long to do it. I would say to young people, it's the same thing. If you're going on a certain path, whether it be toward money or toward growth or toward just being a better person, you need to find somebody that's doing those things. If you gravitate towards somebody, if you let yourself go towards someone who isn't doing those positive things, you can't expect but to go toward the same negative stuff that they're doing. So at the end of the day, just believe in yourself. And those people will come around you. You just have to be ready to accept them in your life.
Man, Griff, that's powerful, man. And thanks for that, Jim. And, you know about our conversation, man. They've been long, some of them hard, but, they've been real, genuine, good conversations. Jai, as he's, talking about putting people around you, and we're talking about serving, we all can agree that the best leaders know how to serve. How has watching coaches in your life serve their institutions and their communities shaped you as a man?
So, all right, that's an easy question right there, man. So, like, I can just start off with you and Griffin. Like, growing up, I didn't really know you guys that well. And I knew Griffin from way back when I was in diapers and everything, because my pops used to put together rec leagues and all that stuff. And I didn't really get to know you until, my junior year when I was introduced to you after I stopped playing for Nike. And just growing up with, Coach Ross and seeing how hard you guys work constantly, and not just for yourselves and for your own goals and aspirations, but like seeing how hard you guys work for your players, and seeing, how you guys are staying out late, working on game film, trying to piece stuff together, studying plays, watching like mentorship videos, from other coaches and higher echelon coaches from like D1 schools and the NBA and stuff like that. And then watching how you guys take everything that you're learning and then pour it into us, you know, so you're not sending us off into the world not knowing anything. And just the amount of hours you guys spent with us in the gym, the amount of just quality time that you spent with us away from the gym. You know, we would go into the gym and we grind. And then afterwards, you know, we could kick it outside at a mall or go to a restaurant. We all just kick it and laugh and hang out and don't even talk about sports at all. Like everything, all the sports and stuff is gone. You guys are more focused on us as individuals, trying to build us up and get to know us and then, you know, endow us with all the knowledge that you've learned and the game that you've picked up along the way. So watching you guys shape us has molded me because I want to be more like you guys. I want to be able to give back to the community every time that I have the chance to talk to a younger person about life or about basketball or about anything in general. I feel like that I might be able to help them with. I'm always able to look back at things that you guys did with me or said to me or said to somebody that I saw you speaking to at the time, and I'm able to use that same knowledge and give that to the next generation.
Man, that's really good, man. So is it safe to say that you got that depth of that lesson as a player, or did you have to mature a little bit and gain more understanding as you became a man?
So I think it all comes with growing up, becoming a man, and taking time to appreciate certain things that you may have taken for granted back when you were younger and looking back on things. Like don't get me wrong, I always appreciated everything you guys did for me. You know, I came from playing for Nike and everything like that. And, you know, I took a chance with you guys and you guys like literally just poured everything you could into me, man. And like, I appreciated that so much. And growing up and like and leaving and then going off to college and even with my college coaches, how much time that they would spend with us and how much of a love for the game they had. And then, but their love for us is even stronger than their love for the game. You know, like I could go and sit in Coach Lister's office and talk about anything. You know, I could go sit in Coach Williams' office and talk about anything. I could go to JP and Coach Milner and I could talk to them about anything. And like most of my conversations that I would have with them were never about basketball. I just talked to them about life, or I just go into the office and just take it to joke around with them and hang out with them. And now that I've grown up and like I've been put in situations where you know, younger kids and kids from this next generation come to speak to me. Like I said, just from maturing and growing up and watching everything you guys have done and you guys giving me that knowledge and me being able to work out that knowledge as I get older, I feel like that right there is what really makes a difference.
Man, awesome. Thank you, Jai. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's really good. And I think it's important for a lot of people our age to have those people that we can go and talk to. It doesn't even have to be about basketball. And I think that's why coaches are so impactful, because we can talk to a coach like Coach Bray. I call him every day and we talk about everything besides the game of basketball, you know. And I think one of those things that's important for me is that not only can I talk to him about anything, but I can set goals and I can ask for accountability and he will hold me to that. So I just want to know, like, Coach Griff, why is accountability so important when it comes to building that family of people around you?
It's funny because as a coach, you kind of, with this, even with this podcast, I kind of have a feel for where it's going. And I already had this answer in my head before you even asked it. I'll say this first. As a young person, you have to be receptive to criticism, and that's a really big thing, because you know you have to be open to somebody telling you what you're doing is not a good decision. You know,
yeah, for sure.
When I first met Jai, he was with Team Nike. Not when I met him, but I knew him when he was playing with Team Nike. He'll tell you, when I first knew he was playing for Team Nike, and I knew what kind of time he was getting, because I know some people down there. When I first I said, hey man, you're wasting your time down there. They're not gonna give you the minutes. They're not gonna give you the exposure. We can give you the same exposure. We're going to a different trajectory with what we're doing here, and we can give you that same exposure that they can give you down there, and you'll get playing time. Stop wasting your time. Now, Team Nike, it was a big deal. It's still a big deal. He could have said, "Nah, I'd rather stick it out," but he didn't. You know, sometimes you need to make decisions that are tough decisions that aren't always not always popular with most of the people that you're going to come in contact with. But the hard decisions are the one that'll propel you forward, you know, in whatever you're trying to do. If it was easy, you know, if it was easy, this whole thing, then you wouldn't need mentors. You would need good people around you. You just do it yourself, and you could just become whatever you wanted to become. But it's hard. It's hard taking the path. You know, sometimes you have to take the path less taken, so to speak. You know, the path that most people wouldn't go down. You know, just to figure it out for yourself. So that's a big deal too. Is you have to be receptive to change. You have to be receptive to somebody telling you, okay, that's not a very good decision. And that's kind of what coaches and mentors do.
Right, man. And I really like that you said that. And, you know, Jai, man, I remember when you made that decision to leave a sponsored team to come and play in your local AAU bracket, but you knew that we were going to take care of you. You knew we were going to put you in front of coaches because we did our research. And I think it changed your life because it gave you more of a platform. I felt like when you went back to your high school team, you know, it wasn't Jai the glue guy. It wasn't Jai the heartbeat. It was Jai the man. Like, you know what I mean? Like you had a different platform. And, you know, this podcast is just another platform. And my question to you would be, what would you tell a young person about serving with your platform?
Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes like it's hard to make that time, but it's an easy decision to make because I personally just want to be able to make a difference in people's lives, whether they're younger than me, older than me. I want to be able to give you whatever lessons that I can give you, you know, give you whatever knowledge that I can give you, and give you whatever tips that I can give you to help you get to whatever next level it is that you're trying to get to. Because as a servant leader, you're supposed to always be doing your best to pave the way for the next generation and pay it forward. And you guys taught me that, which is why when I did make that decision to leave Nike and then come play with you guys, and then I got to be surrounded by, you know, our local talent and everything. And then I was able to take all those things that I learned when I was playing for Nike, take all those things I learned from playing with Coach Raw, and then I was able to give that to those guys every day whenever I came to practice with you guys. And I know sometimes I wasn't always liked by those guys because of it, you know, but they needed it. You know, I had to come in and I led the best way I know how, and I served them the best way I know how, and I like to think it paid off, you know, because they got tougher. You know, we got better because I tried to push those guys to their limit all the time. And I know my leadership style isn't always the best. Sometimes I can be a bit of an ass. Sometimes, you know, you gotta scream a little bit. You gotta get in people's faces. But I don't always have to do that anymore. And that's another thing that comes from growing up and maturing. Is I've learned that I don't always have to be so up here with my energy when it comes to talking to people. Sometimes I can lead by just sitting you down and talking to you and say, hey man, I've noticed this about you. I've noticed that you're doing this. I noticed that this right here isn't working for you. Why don't you try this out? Matter of fact, instead of just telling you, why don't you try this out, let me show you how to do this. And then you go out there and you get your repetitions in so you can get better at doing it. And so yeah, being a leader and serving, you know, it's hard sometimes. You got to make a lot of adjustments because everybody needs to be led in a different way. And but yeah.
Man, dude, that's powerful. And trust me, those guys got better, man. Some of them guys got D1 scholarships because you toughened them up. So just know that they out there, they will tell you that. Man, it's been great talking to you guys. At the end of our podcast, we like to huddle up. We like to have a huddle, you know, talk about, you know, just reflection. And we have what we call to action. And what a call to action is just simply telling our community, telling our listeners one thing that you could that they could do better. If I had to give you, you know, one or two sentences, Griff, what would be your call to action?
Wow. Call to action now. at this point, since I'm not coaching right now, my call to action would just be what I'm doing now. When people that I know have gotten something from me, you know, just being there, a phone call away, a text away, a podcast away, just being there for you guys, man. Like I said, since I'm not coaching right now, my kids are kind of young again. So just being there when BJ calls me or texts me, I'm sending him something, you know, just being there for you guys, man. And just serving you guys who've now taken over the baton, you know, and move forward with what I tried to teach you guys before, you know, at whatever small level I could give it to you. And
Man, appreciate that, Griff. Jai, what would you give some young person, a nugget, a gem, or something, that call to action you want them to work on?
Okay, so this generation, I know you guys have noticed it. You noticed it even with my generation, how things are changing with how the work ethic of kids has changed a lot. Like, kids don't want to work as hard for things anymore. They don't want to grind as hard and have those early mornings and those late nights in the gym or in the classroom or at work to try to reach a certain destination now. And call to action for these kids would be just don't be afraid to put the time in. You know, don't be afraid to grind, because I know what it takes. Like, you want to play college basketball, it's not freaking easy to play college basketball. You got to be grinding all the time to get to the next level, because when you get to that next level, everybody there was that best kid on their high school team. Everybody there was that best kid on their AAU team. You know, you're no longer that guy anymore. Like, you have to separate yourself, and the only way to separate yourself and to reach those goals and those achievements and those aspirations you have is to work your ass off. And like, I know I spent countless hours in the gym with you and Griffin. I spent countless hours in the gym with Coach Ross, and I spent countless hours in the gym by myself, you know, trying to work on my craft and working on being able to finish through contact, working on that sky hook, working on a drop step, working on just easy footwork. And tell kids to, especially for when it comes to basketball, stop trying to skip steps. You know, you got to start off with the fundamentals, because, you know, it's like when it comes to karate or taekwondo or mixed martial arts or anything like that, you have to work your ass off to become a black belt. And then once you become a black belt, they hand you your belt, and what do they say? They say, congratulations, you've mastered the basics. And that's like one of the hardest things for people to understand, is you have to master your basics, which takes time and repetition and repetition and repetition. And then once you master those basics, you can move on to the next thing. And you take care of that. You hit that over and over and over and over again. And
Right.
the next thing. So I would tell kids to don't be afraid to put the time in, and don't skip steps.
Well, good. A little bit of wisdom, a little bit of trust in your game, and a little bit of wisdom takes us a long way. Caitlin, what you got?
I just want you guys to find one person that's significantly older than you. You could feel like could be that source of wisdom for you, and then ask them to be a mentor to you. And then I want you to find someone similar in your age that you can trust. I want you to share your goals and plans with them. Then I want you to ask them to be your source of accountability and hold you to those goals and plans.
Good. And mine is, man, find someone to serve in your community without expecting something in return. While you're serving, ask that person to describe a person that touched their lives and taught them how to serve. Ask them to explain to you how that serving changed their perspective of what service actually is. And then ask them how you can continue to serve them throughout the year. Guys, we really appreciate you guys coming on. Welcome to Area Code. Good. Welcome to Area Code 459 podcast, where love is the frequency and
1% better every day.
Man, we appreciate you guys, man. Y'all have a good one. Good evening.
All right.
Talk to y'all later.